Hi, I'm Scott. Today we're going to talk about a common problem with the starters in Goldwings, how to prevent that problem cheaply and easily, and how to fix that problem cheaply and easily most of the time if it's already occurring. Coming up next. This is one of the most common complaints that comes up in the Goldwing Docs forum. They say, I get on my bike and I press the starter and it just spins and the engine doesn't crank over. A lot of the times they'll say it only happens when it's cold. A lot of the times they'll say, well, sometimes if I press it 3 or 4 times, it'll catch. But it's getting worse. And then they'll say, sometimes they'll say, well, it was like that for a while, but now it won't start at all. So what causes this problem? How do we fix it? Well, we have to explain a little bit about how the starter works in the Goldwing. Unlike a car where it has a bendix spring that pops a gear out and engages a flywheel, the motorcycle starter is completely different. It has what's called a sprag clutch. A sprag clutch is a type of one-way clutch so that the inner part spins, and that's spun by the electric starter motor. And when it does, these little spring-loaded arms called sprags pop out and engage a sleeve. And that sleeve is actually connected to the engine. So you press your starter, the starter spins, the sprags pop out, engage the sleeve that spins the engine. Once the engine starts, the sleeve starts spinning faster than the starter. And because it's a one-way clutch, the sprags will drag and stop catching. That is why, unlike a car, where if you try to start a car and it tries to pop that bendix out into the flywheel that's already turning, you get a horrible grinding noise and it causes damage. On a motorcycle, you could press the starter as you're going down the highway. All it will do is spin the starter a little bit slower than the engine, and the sprags will never actually engage, so no damage is done. You can do that all day long. So why is this a problem? What happens is at the back of the engine, where the starter is on the Goldwing, there is very little oil flow. There's not a lot of circulation through there, so that's where sludge tends to collect. Kind of like when you see a corner and there's sand in the corner, the sand tends to collect where there isn't a lot of traffic. So once we start getting sludge buildup back there, it starts getting into those sprags as well. And once you've got that gooey black sludge starting to fill up the little recesses in the sprag clutch, it can prevent those sprag arms from actually extending all the way. So when you crank the starter, instead of the sprags engaging the engine, it actually just spins and the sprags aren't engaging anything. That's the cause of our problem. What's the solution? Seafoam. I know I've talked about seafoam so many times. It's a solvent that's been around since the 1920s. It's mostly naphtha. It is great for cleaning fuel systems. It's also really great for cleaning sludge out of your crankcase. Put half a can of this in your oil. Let it circulate around. Go ride your motorcycle gently for about half an hour. You want to be gentle because it's going to reduce the viscosity of the oil in your engine. It's going to be thinner, so it's not going to protect as well. So you don't want to really accelerate hard. Just some gentle riding. Get the engine good and hot. And while it's circulating around in there doing that, it's actually dissolving the sludge. Come back, drain the oil out. You're going to want to have fresh oil and a fresh filter on hand, obviously. You are going to be astounded at how much sludge comes out. The first time I did this on my bike, I thought, I do oil changes all the time. My bike is going to be nice and clean. I'm not going to really need this. I was astounded at the clumps of tarry goo that came pouring out of my oil when I did this. So now I do it once a year just to keep that sludge out of my engine. If it's really bad, you may have to do it twice. So put fresh oil back in the engine, more seafoam, do it again, drain it out again. As long as it hasn't gotten too far where the sprags are so bound up with solid gunks of sludge, in most cases, this is enough to actually fix the problem. And by doing it once a year, I do it as I put my bike away for the winter, it prevents it from collecting enough for it to ever become a problem. Most people that have this problem, one treatment of seafoam in the oil, go out, gentle ride, drain the oil, problem solved. I'll put a link to Seafoam in the description down below. I'll also put a link to the Goldwing Docs forum. As always, lots of handy tips like this one on there. Lots of friendly people waiting to help you out. I hope this video gave some useful information to you. If you like what you saw, please click like, click subscribe, that little bell. Leave a comment down below. Did you like what you saw? Have an idea for another video? Let us know. We read all the comments. Thanks for watching.